Want to know about love and your romantic relationships in this life? Well, I am here to tell you all about your love life planet based on astrology. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Hannah and welcome back, Cosmic Warriors. Before we do dive into today's video, if you want to learn more about astrology, then head on over to the Cosmic Check-In podcast. And if you would like to book a reading with me, then go to hannahselsewhere.com. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's do this. Right, before we start, please let me know which house is your fifth house ruler in. Let me know down below. So the fifth house in astrology can tell us a thing or two about romantic relationships, our love life, how we approach love and romance, how we want to be seen and appreciated in love, the kinds of lovers we attract, which ones we enjoy being with, and which ones not so much. Thinking about your type, for example, or thinking about things just didn't work out with that person, not for me. The fifth house can shed light on your sexual expression, how you flirt. Think dating, flings, one-night stands, summer romances, romantic getaways, and even when in a committed relationship, how do you keep the spark alive? What kinds of dates do you go on with your partner? Maybe you're someone who prefers even to remain single, and hey, that's okay too. But whatever the case, your fifth house ruler by house can tell you something about your love life, how you approach love, the kinds of romantic relationships you get into, what you may appreciate when it comes to love, the experiences you have. And it is also important to keep in mind the sign that's on the fifth house cusp plus the planet involved. Okay, so with all of that being said, let's get into this. The first house. If your fifth house ruler resides in the first house, your love life seems to be a big priority in your life, as if it dictates the decisions you make. Perhaps your goals in this lifetime are strongly linked to being in love or finding the one. Naturally, this also depends on the planet and sign, because someone with Aries on the fifth house with Mars and Sagittarius in the first, well, they may be considered more of a player, perhaps, or more promiscuous. Their list of sexual partners may be quite long, no judgment, and they might also value their freedom when it comes to love. Now, on the other hand, take someone with Taurus on the fifth house with Venus and Capricorn in the first. They may be more of a committed person, right? Committing to one person, or they are much more selective about the types of people they sleep with. They're more cautious just when it comes to love and dating overall. Still, with the fifth house ruler being in the first, your love life paints your outlook on life. You may come across as quite a romantic person, or as quite sweet, or as expressive, as creative, possibly charismatic as well. Could just depend too on the sign and the planet and everything. Plus, you may also be up for a good time, having fun. You want to enjoy yourself in life. Maybe the kinds of lovers you attract are independent and bold. They're go-getters who know how to take the lead. They're quite self-sufficient, though a challenge you may face is the very thought of your identity being taken away within relationships. Still, however, being in a romantic relationship may be important to you, or just working towards goals as a couple. That's quite important. The second house. If your fifth house ruler resides in the second, your love life is very much shaped by materials and resources, by money, by wealth, whether this be you attracting partners who are after your money, or you being attracted to partners who have a lot of money, or at the very least, they can provide for themselves and so they can provide for you. Again, this could be where your lovers are after your wealth, Perhaps it is important to you that you and your romantic partner can generate wealth together. And if you go on to have children together, you may find that most of your spending goes on providing for your children. And you enjoy that. You get a lot out of that. Naturally, this can depend on the planet and sign. So, for example, someone with Scorpio on the fifth house with Mars in the second in Leo, well, they might love just giving generously to their partner, celebrating them, making them feel special, showering them with gifts. And there is such depth, there's a real depth to their love as well. But then take someone with Pisces on the fifth house with Neptune in the second. The lines can be blurred. Deception about money and resources can happen. But whatever the case here, with the fifth house ruler in the second, there is a strong focus on financial security when it comes to choosing a romantic partner. The third house, with your fifth house ruler residing in the third, your love life involves a whole lot of communication, which can play out in many different ways depending on the planet and sign. So for example, let's say Aquarius is on the fifth and Uranus is located in the third. What you discuss romantically may seem quite bizarre to the average person, or you might have big plans to maybe travel as a couple. Communication is more about connecting intellectually and giving each other space when you need it too. But then let's say Leo is on the fifth house with Sun in Gemini in the third. You and your romantic partner can really talk about a variety of things, right? And it doesn't have to be super deep or serious. You can be flirty together, tease each other, be playful. Though, whatever the case, with the fifth house ruler in the third, communication is key here. And so if there are any challenges when communicating, this is where we see how you'll feel more satisfied when you can communicate more effectively. Plus, it may be important to you that your lovers, your romantic partners, get on well with your siblings, or you like to maybe go on short trips often as a couple. You go on dates more locally. You might also attract lovers who love to learn and study. You learn a ton from your romantic partners, and they just might enjoy learning from you. The fourth house. So with the fifth house ruler residing in the fourth, your love life seems to involve your family a great deal, whether this be planning to have a family as a couple, or your family being involved within the relationship, or you taking advice from your family about romantic partners. Then again, this could also manifest as you being quite private about your love life. Naturally, this depends on the planet and the sign. Someone with Cancer on the fifth house with Moon in Gemini in the fourth, they might be very chatty and cozy with their partner's family, or they arrange outings often as a family, could be quite close with their partner's mother, with their partner's sisters. Someone with Capricorn on the fifth with Saturn in the fourth, they might be more reserved, let's just say, reserved with their partner's family, especially at first. It can just take them a while to warm up to them, but once they do, they make time for them, they commit to arrangements together. But whatever way this plays out, with the fifth house ruler residing in the fourth, family is a big focus when it comes to romantic relationships. Perhaps your family are willing to look after your children if you have any. Plus, you may be attracted to family-orientated lovers. Though, a challenge you may face is how involved certain family members can be within your love life. Maybe certain issues can arise there from time to time, but still perhaps the kinds of dates you enjoy are spent at home, cozying up on the sofa, watching movies. The fifth house. With your fifth house ruler residing in the fifth, well, your love life seems to be really of a great importance, basically, because what we see here is the planet is at home, right? It's at home in its sign. You might take certain chances within love, or you're a bit of a hopeless romantic. So even if a relationship doesn't work out, you don't give up on love. Of course, this does depend on the planet and the sign. So using the Placidus system in my chart, Capricorn is on the 5th with Saturn in Aquarius in the 5th. And some could argue that I can be somewhat detached within my romantic relationships, always thinking, coming up with many ideas. I did not have the best of luck when I was younger romantically, right? Saturn is more about longevity, it's more about later on in life. That's when we really do reap the rewards of Saturn later on in life. But then let's say you have Sagittarius on the 5th with Jupiter then in Sagittarius in the 5th, and you consider yourself to be much more adventurous in love, always up for traveling, exploring. You love to go on romantic getaways, but still with the 5th house ruler residing in the 5th, perhaps you're attracted to lovers who see you. This is important, who appreciate you, who you can enjoy. Having a healthy sex life is also important here. But you see, a challenge you may face within love is validating yourself, because you might look to your lovers for that validation. The 6th house, with the 5th house ruler residing in the 6th, your love life is a part of your routine. And what I mean by this is you show up every day to be there as a partner, as a lover, or you're attracted to lovers who show up. Perhaps making improvements when necessary is important, or it's that you care greatly about the health of your romantic partner. Heck, you might even love pets and small animals more than humans, or it's that you meet romantic partners and lovers through work. I know that I met my partner at his work, which I find quite funny. The 5th house ruler is in the 6th in my chart, so using the whole sign system here. Essentially, you are willing to put in the effort. After all, relationships require work, such as addressing problems and working through the hard stuff, which I think is very 5th house ruler being Saturn and then in the 6th within my chart there. Still, on the other hand, Gemini could be on the 5th for you, and Mercury is in Cancer in the 6th. And so love is about being more supportive and nurturing. You'll check in with your lovers often, or you'll send them sweet messages when you're in work or whilst they're in work. Still, with the 5th house ruler residing in the 6th, making your lovers a part of your day is coming up here. This is what we see here. You want them to feel appreciated by helping them out or by doing practical things for them. You even might start dating someone from work, or you meet lovers, partners via a colleague, a coworker. You tend to attract service-oriented partners too. But a challenge you might face is a lack of spontaneity, as if time together needs to be penciled in around everything else you've got going on. I hope you are enjoying this video so far. Please make sure to subscribe and hit the like button to let me know that you are finding it to be helpful. And if you're interested in picking up a copy of my astrology cheat sheets to help you read your birth chart simply, then go to the link in the description. Thank you so much. Moving on to the 7th house. So with the 5th house ruler residing in the 7th, your love life may strongly involve commitment. For example, you might commit quite early on in the relationship, or you prefer to get married one day. Perhaps choosing the right person is important, choosing the right venue is important, or you attract lovers who are more committed. Maybe they're quite the opposite to you though. There are things about them that you don't fully see within yourself, and you like those qualities. Then again, it could also be that certain qualities annoy you within them. Or it's that when it comes to choosing a committed partner, having fun is preferred, enjoying yourselves together, making time for each other. Of course, this does depend on the planet and sign. So for example, you could have Virgo on the 5th house with Mercury and Scorpio in the 7th. And so there is a greater seriousness present, or intimacy is strongly preferred. Talking about shared resources is highlighted. But then take someone with Libra on the 5th with Venus in Sagittarius in the 7th. There is a greater desire for freedom, travel, going on wild and crazy adventures. Heck, getting married in a different country is likely, or raising your family in a different country as well. Still, with the fifth house ruler in the seventh, you look at your love life from a place of being a team, right? Being a couple, being a union, keeping your word is important. However, a challenge you may face is having to address potential codependency issues. The eighth house, with the fifth house ruler residing in your eighth, your love life is about depth and meaning, feeling emotionally connected with your lovers. I don't see you having many one night stands, and even if you do, you learn that you prefer relationships with greater intimacy and closeness. Trust becomes a very important factor here. Lovers lying to you is a big no-no, and you can probably tell when they are. Joining your resources with your lovers quite early on is also likely, or maybe you support your romantic partners financially, or this could be this could be for various different reasons, right? And it does depend on the planet and the sign. So let's say Pisces is on the fifth with Jupiter in Gemini in the eighth. You may be very generous with your partner. You're willing to help them out in their hour of need, but you're also going to be logical about it, reasonable about it. Or if, say, Aries is on the fifth with Mars and Cancer in the eighth, disputes about joint finances can happen, as if you must keep yourself safe and protect yourself. Still, with the fifth house ruler in the eighth, love is more about how you feel. It's about depth, it's about truth, it's about addressing the challenging stuff, the ugly stuff. Your love life, it transforms you in such remarkable ways. You might get triggered massively by what your romantic partners do, which can be extremely insightful. And it is likely that you open up a joint account with your partner, or it's that you're able to address things like mortgages, loans, repayments, debts, life insurance, car insurance, who gets what if such and such happens, what happens if you die or I die, and so on and so forth. However, a challenge you may face is trusting your partner. You might have your doubts and your fears about the relationship itself. Plus, you might also attract lovers who do lie to you or intentionally hide things from you. There could be some levels of secrecy here, or it could be that control and domination enter the scene, or it's that your lovers have their own demons which you help them through. Perhaps you even meet a romantic partner nearing a time that you lose someone very close to you, that you lose someone that you love, and then it just so happens that you meet a romantic partner around that time. The ninth house. So with the fifth house ruler residing in your ninth, your love life is about meaning. How another person adds meaning to your life. It's also about exploration and self-discovery. You learn so much about yourself through the lovers you attract. Maybe you even meet romantic partners at college, university, or through some higher educational program, through a training program, or it's that your romantic partners are from a totally different area, from a different country. Maybe their beliefs are different, or there's something about their worldviews that you find to be attractive. This does also depend on the planet and sign. So let's say Libra is on the fifth with Aquarius, so Venus in Aquarius in the ninth. You might attract lovers who are quite eccentric and different, which you find to be very desirable. And you also require plenty of space within the relationship. Perhaps you have many intellectual discussions. But then let's say Capricorn is on the fifth with Saturn in Taurus in the ninth. Romantic partners who share the same beliefs is important here, possibly. So for example, you being a Christian and then your partner being a Christian, that could be what you're seeking when it comes to romantic partners. Whatever the case though, the fifth house ruler in the ninth suggests that love and romance is about connecting when it comes to your beliefs, worldviews, and your morals too. You might enjoy it when lovers challenge you intellectually, or they open you up to something new. Traveling together is also a big theme here. However, a challenge you may face could be a language barrier, a travel related barrier, an ethical barrier perhaps. You might also prefer lovers who are well educated. The 10th house. So with the 5th house ruler residing in your 10th, your love life is quite ambitious. Perhaps you strive for success and you strongly consider the long term. You might attract lovers who are status driven or who put their career first often, or it's that you desire to be with someone who accepts this about you, right? You might prefer lovers who have their SH1T together, lovers who do not mess around. Now, it's also likely that you post your lovers, your partners, often on social media. Your public image is important to you when it comes to choosing a partner. Of course, this does depend on the planet and sign. I mean, someone with Gemini on the 5th, with Mercury and Scorpio in the 10th, more likely than not, you'll keep your love life private. But then take someone with Sagittarius on the 5th, with Jupiter and Taurus in the 10th, you might be a bit more open, right? You might share more about your love life online. These, of course, are just two examples. Still, overall, with the 5th house ruler residing in the 10th, reputation and recognition are tied to your love life in some way. Heck, you might have a fling with your manager, with your boss, or maybe you meet lovers within your field, within your industry. Maybe you become known for your love life too, or it's that you turn love into your profession, right? Such as helping others with their own love life, being a dating coach, a sex coach. Heck, we could see this with Scorpio on the 5th, with Mars in Aries in the 10th, for example. And also, you may be attracted to professional types. But again, you could be in on it for the status. It just depends. It depends here. And a challenge you might face is making time for dates, making time for each other, because there's just a lot going on, professional wise, work wise, the workload here. Then again, this could also be that your love life is strongly linked to your purpose, and that extends beyond just career, status, and work. Okay, so the 11th house, with the 5th house ruler residing in your 11th, your love life is tied to your social circles in some way. So for example, you might meet lovers through a friend, or you run into each other within the same friendship circles. Maybe it is important to you that you're friends as well, right? So being friends with your partner is a big factor in this. Perhaps also having the same future aims is important, so to be on the same wavelength about your future together. However, this could also be where you make more time for your friends over your romantic relationships, or it's that your romantic partners can be like this. It depends on the planet and sign. For example, Virgo could be on the 5th with Mercury and Pisces in the 11th. So there could be some sort of disillusionment when it comes to spending time together, or it's that you're very go with the flow romantically. Then again, this could even be where this stuff is to your own detriment, right? So be mindful of that. Then let's say Cancer is on the 5th with Moon and Capricorn in the 11th. This could be a situation where you end up dating a friend you've known for years. Do keep in mind the opposing energy present, suggesting this push and pull regarding romance and friendships. A challenge you may face is making time for one another because your social life is involved too. But it is likely that you attract partners who are friendly, who are charitable, who want to make a difference within the world. Perhaps someone who is famous or well known. They could be a part of a larger social network. And lastly, the 12th house. So with the 5th house ruler residing in your 12th, your love life is quite hidden. So you most likely won't share your relationships online. There might be levels of privacy, secrecy. Plus, there could also be indicators of affairs and infidelity here. Naturally, this is not always the case. It's important to look at the planet and the sign and aspects. I mean, this could also play out as your lovers being devoted to you, very dedicated to you. Or it's just that when it comes to your romantic life, there is that devotion. So let's say Pisces is on the 5th with Jupiter in Libra in the 12th. We see this devotion to your lovers. Commitment is important to you. Your morals are really involved in this as well. Or let's say Scorpio is on the 5th with Pluto and Gemini in the 12th. I mean, this right here could be an indicator of hidden affairs. Did you ask your grandparents maybe with this combination if they were faithful? I'm only joking, of course, but still, with the 5th house ruler in the 12th, avoidance might happen when in love. Ignoring red flags, for example. Now, on the other hand, it could also be a case of forgiving, being understanding, seeing that no one is perfect. We all have flaws. You might also cherish the moments that you really spend with your lovers and partners. You love to escape together, hide out, be in your own romantic bubble. However, a challenge you may face is tied to merging too much with your lovers. It's important to separate as well. Feeling guilt when you do put yourself first is likely. Still, you might attract lovers who love to play within the fantasy world. Actors, actresses, content creators, photographers, directors, role playing together is probable, or being able to tap into your imagination as a couple. You see the good in your romantic partners. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes today's video all about your 5th house ruler through the houses. I hope you found this video to be helpful, and if you did, you can always buy me a coffee. Stay tuned for more, and I will catch you in the next one.